Alrighty. Do I have sound? I'm still trying to get my iPad to come up. I don't do this often enough that I remember. So I have to look over on my computer to see the chat. Oh, nuts. I just want to go to my... Okay, here's... So, Christine, can you hear me? You might not be able to. Can you hear me now? Oh, okay. Let me turn it back off. Okay. Okay, how do I get onto my channel to watch it live off of my iPad? I'm not signed in. Do I go to subscriptions? But I'm not subscribed. Ah! Oh, on Facebook? Oh, okay. Sorry about this. I will get this all straightened out eventually to where I don't have these hiccups at the beginning. But, you know, I mean, got the camera hanging down there. It's kind of, you know, it's a not a professional production. Let's just put it that way. Okay, so... There it is. Okay. Voila. Christine, what would I do without you? Okay. Got that. Now I have a chat. I can't turn that yet, so. Alrighty, guys. So, as I mentioned over on Paper Doodles, I can't mention details of our current situation because that gets videos, you can't monetize them, they're taking some down, that sort of thing, and that's fine, because we don't want to spread misinformation, so I'm just going to call it our current situation. So, I'm looking to be doing the live shows on Tuesdays and Thursdays, typically, unless something comes up again like today, they're going to be at like 3:30, 4 o'clock my time. We're doing this one this evening because I had to run out and get some stuff for my mom and such, because we needed to have 2 weeks worth of supplies for her, so I had to go do that. So apologize for we're late, but we're at least doing it this evening. I know it's probably kind of late for a lot of people on the East Coast, and I apologize for that. We used to do our shows on Fridays at 7 in the early days, at 7 o'clock my time, but I know I'm bouncing around because the last several shows I have done a different project each show, from New Year's Day to a couple weeks ago to this. What day did we do? I'm so confused as what day it is. So it's Thursday. So that would have been, I think we did it on Monday. But I have been working on an album for a couple weeks now, and I'm like kind of getting burnt out on doing albums 24/7. So we're going to do a 3D project. I didn't want to reinvent the wheel. I didn't want to do something completely and totally brand new, different. So we're just modifying something that I've done previously. Was it on Tuesday? See, I don't, you know, I'm so off as to what day it is. With my husband not going to work, I don't know what time it is, because all of a sudden I look up and I go, oh my goodness, it's 6:30, and I got to go make dinner, and I've been cooking. The kids and I usually have fast food for lunch, so it's been really, really kind of, I actually enjoyed it, though dinner last night sucked. Did red curry, it was way too hot, and I couldn't find regular rice, so we used this pink rice that, I'm not a brown rice fan, but it tasted a lot like brown rice, so I was not impressed. But Anyway, so okay, we won't do that one again. So it's been fun. So anyway, is it Friday? So Friday, it's Friday in Australia. Okay. I have heard enough time keeping track of my own time zones and having one very close friend on the East Coast and one very close friend in Hawaii who doesn't go on daylight savings time. It's completely, because it's like, are we at 2 hours now, Joy? I can never remember if it's 2 hours when it's daylight savings time or if it's 3. So crazy. Anyway, we're all just, this is an interesting time in history. I was talking to Sarah about it, and it's like, this is one of those times that you will forever remember in your life. So, crazy. So, but we're all going to get through it, and I think just taking a break from it all by doing just some fun crafting and chatting. If people need to talk about it in the chat, feel free. But I'm going to just try to keep it where it's light and fun and crafty, and we're just going to have a break. So, but I think it's awesome to get everybody all gathered together in a way to where we can all still be isolated, but we can be all together, and that's awesome. For instance, we have somebody here from Austria, we have somebody from Australia. I know we got Canadians, and obviously from across the country. So it's very cool to have that community. I mean, that's been one of my favorite parts of doing this for the past 10 years, is that sense of community that we get. And so, if you can't use it in times like this, when can you? So, excuse me. Glass of wine on hand to relax with you. Yeah, if I start using sharp objects and a glass of wine, probably not a really good idea. So, anyway, what we're going to do is we are going to be working on this part this week and then next week. We are going to be working on a modification of the very first fairy house, the summer fairy house. If those of you remember, this one just looks so. I mean, I really didn't do much of a base or anything. It's just a chipboard. Things change and evolve as you do them more. But this has always been one of my favorites. So we're going to do a modification of this. And I want to do it to where it's got a little bit more of masculine flavor with the fairies. I'm doing mine that way, but you can do yours however you choose. I am working on a new paper. So we're not gonna reach the point of papering on this yet anyway, but that I hope to have done before next Tuesday. But I also have multiple other fairy papers that you may already have, or you may have papers of your own. But it's going to be more of a little bit more of a masculine, and I'm going to put it on a more of a base and that sort of thing. And the other thing we're going to do is this along this line right here. We're actually not going to do this back half. So this is going to kind of be, the house itself is going to be the backdrop with more of the base out front, because I'm actually going to create a box. Because the album to fit in this tiny little thing was a very small album, and everybody is more into the larger albums these days. So I'm going to be creating, the base is going to be turned into a box, and the box will hold the album, and we're going to cut this depth-wise, basically in half. And again, this will be the backdrop, so you won't have anything that goes inside the house on this one. So it'll be a little bit different. So, excuse me. On top of everything, all of our cherry trees and apple trees and all that are blooming here in the Seattle area. So my allergies are through the roof, and you're paranoid. You go out, you don't want to cough because people will give you the death stare. So, so if I cough, that's why. It's because my allergies are. Oh, when you break out the window. That was good. I was trying to stick some stickers back down, and I busted the window. Okay, well, I'll have to figure out how to fix that. So, anyway, so if you have this pattern, I'm just going to show you how I'm modifying, but everything on the front part is going to be the same, and it's just going to have a different base, and there will be a new album that goes on the inside. So it's easier to show while I'm on this camera. So let's go ahead and switch cameras, and if once I do that, people can let me know that the sound is fine. That would be helpful. I hate touchpads. Honestly, I do. Alright, so that light doesn't look... There we go. Now I can tip that one, so otherwise it was going to blind you guys. So, let's see if we can turn this. There we go. Alright, so, I've got my chipboard here. So, what you're going to need to do to start with is, there is a template in the pattern, tutorial, whatever you want to call it. And you're going to draw a line that's perpendicular with this edge up to that point. It's 2.5 inches from this curved roof is the front edge, is the front roof. So 2.5 inches from this edge will be the line that you're going to draw, and we're going to cut off this part. We won't be cutting out this part, so that part will be gone. We're just going to use this for the sides. So then on the cutting instructions, the house sides, so to cut that, you're going to be cutting those at 2.5 inches wide. The house back is going to be 7.5 by 7 3/4, and then we're going to have an 8.5 by 11 base. Now you won't need the inside divider or the back roof when you're going down your cutting list that comes with the pattern, so just be aware of that. So you will need chipboard. I'm using some lightweight chipboard for the roofs. Whew. Sorry, I just got a text from my brother, so. Yeah, he's a dentist. Oh, he's a prosthodontist. And they're closing all dental offices for the next 30 days. Fun times. Anyway, all right, so next, so we're gonna, as I said, the base, we're gonna have this be 8.5 by 11, and we're gonna have the house kind of sitting towards the back here. It'll still have the little tower, it'll still have the chimney, but then this area will be kind of the yard, because I want to have a stream going through it, and we're not going to get the base and the box part done till, that probably we won't do that one probably till Tuesday. I just want to get working on the house, but the base will be an 8.5 by 11 size. So, and then I brought up some lightweight chipboard because I will use that for this roof. It's easier to curve. I wasn't using that much lightweight chipboard when we wrote this pattern, so, but the rest would be done out of the medium weight chipboard. Oh, Joy put up a link for the, and the patterns are all, I've continued the sale. I will continue the sale probably through the weekend, where all of my patterns, tutorials, whatever you want to call them. I call them patterns in the beginning because I came out of quilting and I wrote patterns. So to me, a tutorial or instructions is called a pattern. That confuses some people, so I try to call them tutorials more often nowadays. So, but any of my written tutorials, video tutorials, are all 35% off through the weekend, and all of the digital papers are 20% off. You don't have to do anything. The sale price shows when you are looking at the different things. So I also want people to know is if you, in the next couple of weeks, I'm trying to do some shipping too. I am wiping down all of the plastic bags with antibacterial wipes before I pack them into the shipping boxes. So though we have nobody with any symptoms, don't really personally know of anybody with anything, so just be aware I am wiping it down. So anyway, okay, so what we're going to first do is go ahead and trim this template that comes in the pattern. And we're going to use that front 2.5, which goes from the peak, and it has the curved roof, and that's the front. So this wider section, it's the back roof. We're not using it. So I do need a cutting guide to go by. Okay, so we got the tower, we got the house. We're not doing the base just yet, so let's cut all these parts. And let me put my, it's behind my, put my blade in for chipboard. What's this? Also, while I'm doing all this, excuse me, just as a little commercial here for some friends. Those of you who live in Canada, if you live in the Calgary or in Calgary area or in Alberta, the Paper and Ink Boutique is still open. They are also doing curbside pickup and mail order. And if we want to keep our really delightful local scrapbook stores alive, we need to help support them. I'm sure there are some in all of your areas that are going to be struggling, and so I do ask that you give them all the support that you are able to do. If you are in the Vancouver area, the Clipper Street scrapbook store is also doing that same. They're actually doing some deliveries. They're doing curbside pickup. And I'm not sure what their limited store hours are, but so for my Canadian friends that are in BC or Alberta, I've got you. I personally, when I am looking for some things, I use Frantic Stamper that's out of Oregon for mail order. She's awesome. She's amazing, and she gets some amazing products in. So, and that's Frantic Stamper, and she's out of Oregon. Okay, Jerry Ann says if you're in the Spokane area, 3 Craft Chicks is delivering there. So, not trying to promote every competitor I have, but I do want people to be reaching out and supporting their local paper crafting stores and such as they can. Leslie, we're still on schedule for June. If things don't work out for that, I have told her that my schedule is pretty open for the rest of the summer if we need to delay, and I will keep people posted as I know that. Looks like my Norton's wanting to have me things. So, okay, what am I cutting? Okay, so these are the sides for the tower. Now I use my cutter. It doesn't cut all the way through, but it cuts about halfway through this chipboard. And what's the beauty of it is, it's really easy to finish cutting, and I'm finding they're much straighter, better cuts using this method. I've been doing this for a couple years now, but those of you who haven't been around for a while may be wondering, how is she doing that? But see, it makes it really easy. You just have to do a one pass cut. If you need the ruler, that's fine, but it's like a one pass cut to get that. This is the medium weight or the .050 weight chipboard. The lightweight that I use is .022. This lightweight is about the weight of like a back of a paper pad. How it's got chipboard on the back, about that weight. Maybe a little heavier than a cereal box. But this medium weight is .050. It's the standard kind of medium. Yeah, Franny Stapper, she's awesome. She ships very quickly, and she carries a lot of products. So. Never met her, don't know her. Has no idea I'm promoting her, but... Okay, so then these are the pieces for the roof of the tower. And we do a little mixed media when we're doing the tower and stuff, because we'll finish off the edges and it's painted. See, y'all, I had you guys doing mixed media before it was cool. So we'll be able to get these all out of one piece. Oh, come on. I don't want to do that. My computer keeps wanting me to update my Norton anti-situation. I don't want to say a word. Lois, this is past her bedtime. She's on the East Coast, and she's also recovering from pneumonia. So for her especially, I want her to get her rest and to recover. So she's not going to be here with us right now. So, all right. So I'm just going down the cutting guide right now. So. Okay, so that's the house front. I don't suppose this is wide enough. Of course not to be the sides. So that's front, and I need one. Oh, it's not like that. That's kind of skinny. It's a little skinny, so. So these are the fronts. This is the tower. Let's do the sides. This is the weirdest box of chipboard. It's kind of got some weird edges on it. Alright, so this is for my sides, so I'm going to set my template on top of there and mark it. Since it's chipboard, we don't have to worry about mirror imaging because when we after we cut it, we can just flip one over. But let the craft knife out. If you prefer, you can use your scissors. Some people have an allergic reaction to their craft knife, so. Okay, so there's my two sides. There's the two sides, and my front, and my tower. Let's see, what else do we have to cut? Let's cut the chimney. So we need two that are 1 inch and two that are 1.5 inches. So. 1 inch. We're going to do some fun stuff with egg carton on the chimney next week. So save an egg carton. You know, the kind that are kind of cardboardy, the grayish cardboard. If they're the foam ones, that won't work. But we'll talk more about that next Tuesday. Or you can do it the way it is in the pattern. I also am going to play with some fabric mushrooms. We're going to make some mushrooms. But yeah, a couple of the papers that I had looked at that I already have available for this one are November Morning would work really well, and Pink Pixies, the one that was for the ferry ship. And so those would work. Alright, so now lightweight chipboard itself it's like a paper or fabric. It has a grain to it. So this curves easier this way. So I'm going to want it be my roof going. So I want the width of my roof by the height of my roof. And I only need to do the roof front. So, where's it at? Front roof. So I want it, okay, so I want it to go this way. Now, I do know I used regular chipboard when I did this, and I just scored it because I didn't use lightweight chipboard back in ancient times, because this pattern is from like a million years ago. This pattern from 2013. It doesn't feel like it's been that long for a lot of these projects that I revisit. So it's rather ironic. And I'm like going, oh my goodness, I'm feeling old. So, all right. So now, next up, we want to cut the roof. Here on the other desk. So we are going to be cutting a window in 3 of the pieces, and let's see, 1 and a quarter inch. Okay. Let's cut the roof first, and then we'll cut the windows. Okay, so if you mark it as it shows you in the pattern, and then you can, I'll go ahead and draw this. You can just cut direct from point to point. So I'm just connecting my dots. And this will give you your roof pieces. And these are the cut lines. So you can go straight to cutting if you're comfortable with that. Otherwise, go ahead and mark it and then cut it. I know, Joy. It's like some things that I remember doing the shows. I remember doing the projects. And I go, oh, that couldn't have been that long ago. And then I look and it's like, oh, gosh, that was from 2014 or 2015 or something like that. And I'm like, holy cannoli. Just cut on those marked lines. You could actually line this line up on your cutter and cut them that way too. Is there special blade available for chipboard? No, I just use regular number, I think they're number 11 X-Acto blades. I just change it frequently, especially after you've cut chipboard. Chipboard will dull your craft knife blade. I also, when I'm using the blade on my cutter, I have an old blade that I cut paper with, and then I'll mark it. For instance, on this one, see, I have it marked CP for chipboard, because then I keep, that way I don't dull this one down, which I just is for my paper. So I just switch it out, and I just keep one that's for chipboard, and then I have the one that I use for cutting paper. Once this one gets dull from cutting paper, I'll switch it to be my chipboard one, toss the chipboard one, and put in a new blade. But you don't want to put in a new blade and cut your chipboard, because it will dull it down. So once it gets it starts like, you can tell when you need a new blade for cutting your paper. So once your blade for paper gets dull, use it for chipboard. Does that make sense? Yeah, Joy says I can cut with X-Acto blades, but she cannot, so. Well, Joy was, when she and I talked this morning, she was saying that, yeah, a lot of people haven't done this one because it was probably before their time. I didn't realize, Christine, this was even before your time, because you've been around for a long time. Okay, so now we're going to cut windows. We're going to mark the window. And it's a 1/2 inch in from the sides and down from the top. And these have we'll put acetate in. And I might have there be an access. Yeah, I think I will do that. Where I'm going to have access through the back. I'll probably cut a hole in the back that we're going to put on there so we can put little you can either put little fairy lights in there, or you can put fake tea lights in, so that our little fairy house can light up from the inside. Turn that so I could see the chat. It was just glaring just right. Yeah, this was the first fairy house in that series. This was summer, and then we did fall, winter, and spring. So we do this on 3 of the... We don't need to do the 4th one because the 4th one is up against the roof, so... The treehouse is the autumn fairy house. That was the second one in this series.
Again, you know, see, we did mixed media on that one too, so we did mixed media before it was the in thing. You just didn't know you were doing mixed media. Yeah, the Wizard House was fun. That one will be forever in my brain. That it had the TSA agents all excited. First off, because it had little air canisters for an airsoft rifle that were empty, but they had to, you know, freak out for a momentary. But they were all fascinated by it and looking at it, and as a result, my chipboard that I had all pre-cut for my 100-person class at CHA got left. And that was here then. The morning of class, I discovered we did not have the chipboard for the covers for the album, and we had to punt. So the Wizard House is forever stuck in my brain as that. It's like if those TSA guys hadn't been so fascinated with the Wizard House, which I carried on, I probably wouldn't have lost my chipboard. Why they had to take the chipboard out of my carry-on and run it through, again, I don't know, but it did not make it back into my carry-on, so. Yeah, the Wizard House had some PVC pipe tube stuff that was used for its little tower thing. I know, I can't decide on my favorites either. If I have to name a favorite, I feel like I'm, you know, it's like trying to name your favorite child. Depends on what they did that day, I guess. But if you want to watch the video for the original from this pattern, it is still in the archives, free to view. And it's under the Garden something series. Enchanted Garden series, I think is what I called it. And it has, and so then it has the, this is the spring fairy, or summer fairy house. Alright, so that has our windows done on the 3. So these are the front and the sides, and then this is the back one. So then we'll assemble these guys all together using construction strips. Those of you who are not for Magic Garden series, that's it. It's Magic Garden series. Construction strips are 3/4 inch strips scored down the center with heavy or strong adhesive tape. I use score tape, and you go apply your score tape close to the fold, not close to the edge, but close to the fold. And these are used to attach our pieces together. Yeah, the Magic Garden series had 4 primaries in it, the 4 elements, the 4 seasons: summer, fall, winter, spring. And then the Wizard House was part of that series. I'm trying to think of what other fairy houses I'm looking around. Oh, there was the Tooth Fairy house. There is the Fairy Godmother house that were part of that series as well. So, anyway. Okay. I'm going to snip these. I'm just tabbing the corners, as I call it, cutting it off at a slight angle. Oh, the snowman house, that's right. The snowman house has a little ski lift on it. We did that for New Year's one year. I don't remember if the Fairy Go Round was a part of that series or not. The church was is part of the Maple Street. The Troll House was part of Once Upon a Time. Now, one of the things I think I'm gonna do is to the back, the one that doesn't have the window, or the back of the tower. I am going to cut. I think I'm going to cut 2 inches off of that so that I can slip a the little tea light into it. So I'm going to cut 2 inches off the bottom. It won't show, but it allows me to put the tea light in there so I can light it. Alright, so let's put these 3 together to start with. It's easy to have a good memory when I can sit here at my desk and look around and name the ones because I can see them. If I can't see them, I don't remember them. And these, the construction strips are typically on the inside, so I'm going to line things up, butt it together, and attach so that then when I fold it, it has the seam is on the outside and it's nice and clean. Yeah, that's what I said. You can use fairy lights, and you can find cheaper than Tim's that are the exact same thing at the big box stores. So it's up to you as to which you prefer to use. Alright, so then this is going to go to where the opening is at the bottom, since the windows are at the top, but the opening is going to be there at the bottom. So I need to shorten these. Well, I don't know how it all works there in Canada, Leslie. I haven't been into a Michael's in Canada yet, so I'm not really sure how, price wise as it is, So exchange rate just always makes it feel like everything's on sale when I go up there, but I don't know how if that's gonna survive all of this, that great exchange rate. So. attach that kind of together. All right, so that gives us our tower, and then by having an opening at the bottom, we can slip whatever form of lights that you want to use, whether it's the tea lights or you want to use fairy lights. Either way, it gives you an access place. So that's, you know, that's what was wanting for this. So, okay, so then we've got our 4 triangles that are form our roof that will also attach together, and these should be the right length. And they are. Now, up at the top point, you're going to want these. You want to cut this at a pretty sharp point up at the top because you're dealing with a pretty sharp point. Oh, good grief. How long have I been on? We haven't even been on an hour yet, and somebody's already disliked this. You know, giving me a thumbs down. It's like, oh, please. Oh, I also have other suspicions rather than just your typical troll. I personally don't pay that much close attention to it, but I did look and I went, wow, really? Nice. I've used different colors of craft paper for these. These are just a little bit long. That's why I'm having to trim them. I made them just a little squidgy long. Oh, I just find it funny. It's one thing doing this. You got to let a lot of stuff just roll off your back. Hard to do at times, but oh, it's down at the bottom underneath the viewing screen. Alright, so then we're going to attach the last 2 together and that will form the roof. Okay, so there's my roof. And that's going to attach it. It comes right to the edge. So we're going to attach that on there, again with some construction strips. Okay, so we'll be attaching these here at the top. All right, so we've got the construction strips at the top, so then we can start with the first one. If your hands are too big to fit inside there, you can use your ruler or something to attach these down with. So I'm going to pull the paper off the 3 remaining. Or you can just stick your finger in through the window, duh. Well, I was feeling bad that I really didn't have a planned project. You know, I started a project on New Year's Eve and then went on hiatus for about, 2 months? And then I started back and I did a paper bag album, and we were just decorating. Everything you need to know to make the paper bag album is already there. And then last week I was wanting to do one project, but I couldn't find the materials, but I found for the time we visited, so we did that one, and it was like not really what I wanted to work on, and I'm like, okay, I'm just kind of burnt out on working on albums at the moment, so let's do something 3D. Well, what can we do that I don't have to write a new pattern for? So there we go. So here's our tower that goes near the front, and so let's fold on what we do next. So we have our 2 so they are attached to our 2 front pieces. So a sec, I gotta make sure I'm going quick around the pattern. Okay, so we just finished the bottom of page 4 out, and we'll come back and do the mixed media portion of the tower here shortly. Let's just get this front. So on this front, we need to cut a window out on it as well. So mark your front window. And then we can go ahead and cut it out. I did the mixed media part of the paper mache part of the tower before I attached it to the house itself. So we'll get about that far, because I'm not going to go for a full 2 hours tonight just because I haven't eaten dinner yet. And I told the family that when I got to a good stopping point, and I was all prepared that I was going to have to cook dinner, and my husband says, no, we're going to do takeouts for a couple of nights. Support our local restaurants. How long does modeling paste last if you never open the jar? It's hard to say. It depends on the brand. It might be good. The only way you'll know is if you open it up. I have some stuff that I've never opened that's a couple years old, and it was fine. You can put the strips on the outside, but by putting them on the inside, you can butt your seams up and have them be nice and straight. If you are putting your strips on the outside, you need to allow this, as you can see here, there's space that goes from that edge to that edge, so you need to allow a gap if you're putting your strips on the outside. We're going to cover over these seams on the outside, but it's much easier to do with after many years and many constructed projects. I do suggest that they go on the inside. You can see, if I were to attach this on the outside, I would need to, when I put it on the strip, I would need to leave almost 1/8 of an inch gap for it to not, because otherwise it's not going to want to fold. Whereas if it's on the inside, because you can see here on the outside, when I fold this, you can see then there's that gap from edge to edge. When I do it on the inside and fold it up, there's no gap, so you can put the construction strip right on the fold. Well, if you can tell me how many patterns I have, I could tell you. For how many 3D patterns, I know I've probably got it close to pushing 100, and I can guarantee you pretty much every single one of them I've done at least twice. So we'll be generous and just say it's 75. So if I've done 150 different, and then there's all the projects that I've done that didn't ever make it. They never came to reality because they didn't make the cut, so to speak. Okay, so this one is on this side. So this one gets the side, the big one gets that on that side. So let's go ahead and attach that on there. I'm not sure how you pronounce your, I would have said Sean, and given that you're from Ireland, but is it Cian or Cian? You can go to my website, LoriDenisonDesigns.com, under the schedule button, and it tells you when I will be on. I'm on the west coast of the USA. I'm in Washington State. So I'm on Pacific time zone. And you can put that into, there's all sorts of time zone generator things that can tell you what exact time that is in your own time. Over the years, we've had lots of Europeans, Aussies, New Zealand, South Africa. I know I've had customers from Korea and Singapore. Oh, the one thing I didn't cut was my back panel. The house back. So let me cut that so that we can put that on there. Excuse me. Alright, so that gives me my back that this is going to then attach to. The other way. I was going to say, why is that short? No, it's not. But I do want to cut an opening down at the bottom again so I can fit the little lights into there. So I want to go again 2 inches up. Three inches looks like it's going to be plenty of an opening. This is where we're deviating from the pattern because we're not going to have the back of the house because we're cutting it off at the peak of the roof. So this is going to just be flat. So this is a deviation. So this is 2 inches by 3 inches centered along the bottom of the back. And the 7.5 is the width of the back, and the 7 3/4 is the height. All right, so then these are going to go on each side, like so. Yeah, it's a tougher situation, Deborah, to be the mother-in-law instead of the mother. If you were the mother, you could just flat out kind of tell your daughter a little bit more, but as a mother-in-law, you got to be a little bit more diplomatic. So I'm trimming that one with really sharp on the one side. It's just weird. It's been a minute since I've done a show at night. So okay, so now we're going to get ready to do the roof, get it attached on there, I believe. Let me go back and look on the pattern, since this has been a hot minute since I've done this. Okay, so we did. Okay, we're not ready for the roof yet. We're gonna go ahead and attach it to our tower, and as I said, I will do the tower part. So we're not doing the roof just yet. So this is going to attach on each side of the tower, like so. I have to look and see what distance back it is. Oh, it's at the center line. Okay, so I just need to mark the center of the tower sides. I'm just going to mark the center on the front too, just so I have it. So when I go to put the door on, it's easy to do right now. But it's easier for you to mark this before you cut these. Go ahead and do that. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to add my construction strips. And this, in this case, this is where I will put them to the outside and not on the inside, because it's harder to do on the inside. Like this. Yeah, it's pretty funny. Sarah's boy is in Winnipeg. He went home to Winnipeg. He was playing golf in Portland last week, and now he's back in Winnipeg where it's 11 Fahrenheit. I don't know what that is in. I can figure out pretty much everything. I have in my head, I have a hard time converting Fahrenheit and Celsius. Everything else I can do pretty easily, but the temperature thing, other than I know in a hotel, I know 30s is like our 80s. I'm trying to remember when we were crossing Canada, I got to the point where it's like, okay, I know what temperature that is, and I'm going to freeze to death here in this hotel room if I don't turn it up. It was like 20 something. It is daylight savings time in the U.S., but this is probably one of the last times, from my understanding, that we will be switching to daylight savings time. It is my understanding that we will most likely stay on this daylight savings time as our permanent time, which I am perfectly fine with. I hate this switching back and forth. Okay, so I'm attaching that one there, and I'm attaching it on that center line. Doing the same over on this side. It can be done either on the inside or the outside on this one, but I find it appears to me that it's going to be a little bit easier on the outside here. So I just want to line that up. Turn it so I can see. Make sure you're lining up your bottom edge. Come on, line up on there. Yeah. See, it's kind of until I get the roof on there. So as you can see how, and then there's our back, which is different. So it's going to be not as deep, and so there's not going to be anything going in here other than, see, now with his opening I can put some lights inside. So we will now be doing our roof. I think this is just an easier way to mark it, is just to set this down inside like so I can mark. So I want to even, it's about a 1/2 inch overhang on each side. So now I can mark placement. So then I'll have to cut how far up it goes. I know I have that dimension in there. Oh, I see a typo on there. It has a... Oh, no, it's not. I was wrong. I was at the wrong. Oh, that's for the... Never mind. I was at the wrong thing. Okay, so it's a 2.5 by 25. So this should be... That's the 2 5/8, and then I come up 2.5 from there. But see, I have to notch out for the chimney on the other side. So then I'm going to come down on this side. Get a little bit far. Yeah. Okay, so we'll notch these out. We'll get this roof attached, and then we'll probably stop for today, so that we do the mixed media paper mache stuff on Tuesday. And the dimension for these notches are the same, are in the pattern tutorial thingy. And the other thing you wouldn't do is, I'm using the lightweight chipboard, so I'm not going to be doing the scoring of the chipboard on the back, which I did on that because I was using the medium weight. The proof is in the pudding here. Ah, perfect. It's perfect. So now along this edge where we've notched this out, that will line up exactly, and then it overhangs because our chimney will go right here. And then it notches in perfect. Perfect, perfect, perfect. So I'm going to put a construction strip along each of these plus that top edge. A little trickier to put this on the curve. Oh, I didn't do it on the curve. I did it on the roof itself. Okay. So, alright, I guess on here, how far does it hang now? Probably says on the pattern, but. Okay, so 1 inch from the bottom. Ish. It's much easier to put it on the flat of this. So I'm going to come in 1/2 inch over on this side. And this again will be on the outside, but it's going to get covered over so it won't show. And stop it about 1 inch, a little under 1 inch from the bottom. Yeah, I was going to say anything over 30 centigrade I know is quite toasty. No, I was saying it was 11. When Sarah looked at it, it was 11 Fahrenheit there. I'm sure it has been colder there today as well, but when Sarah was looking, it was 11 Fahrenheit. For those in the States, Winnipeg is directly above the Minnesota, North Dakota border. on that top edge, pop that in. Oh, before I do that, on these ones on the side, we're going to do a snip like every ½ inch or so. So it can follow the curve. Okay, so I'm going to put it on the top edge to start with. On this side, it'll hang over. On this side, it'll be flush. And we're just going to set that to where it's sitting right on top of there. So we have a budding, let's see. So we have a budding seam right there. Now I'm not going to, oh, I need to put it on this edge too, but I'm not going to worry about attaching it to the tower yet. I do want to put it on these front edges though. Perfect. I'm so glad you could join us, Marcy. Give those girls a big hug. Well, you can't. Okay, well, virtual hugs to the girls, I guess. One thing, I know this time is difficult for some people like on the East Coast, but I do know this is a good time for a lot of our international friends from when I used to do it before. I know it works, timing-wise, works well for the Europeans and us Aussies, so. And so, because I can still reach in from underneath, I'm not going to attach the top of the front edges. I'm just going to do the roof to start with. Okay, I'm going to cut that at a sharper point up near that top. Tuck those in. And I'm just going to line up the edge of the chipboard and stick these tabs down. So going to work your way along like a ½ inch at a time. So you can see how we get that nice clean edge along there. And we'll do the same thing over on this side. Cutting up here at the top into a sharper point so that it works. and pulling the paper off. Now if you coordinate your snips with where your placement of your tape is, oops, you can do it many times all in one piece, otherwise it's going to come off in little chunky chunks. Well, this isn't too bad. It's done it in 3 chunky chunks. Come on, come off of there. And take the last one with you. There you go. Square that up a little. We're going to tuck that down inside. Flush that up against there. Reach inside. Squish those construction strips down. There we go. So that gives us our sloping roof. So now I can go inside and attach the top of the front face. So you should be able to just kind of tuck that back up against that chop out on the roof, and then that's where your placement needs to be, so that that's nice and tight up against there. Same thing over here on this other side. A little trickier to reach in there and get that one out. Yeah, U.S. is still dumb and imperial. Alright, so then you can also, I'll probably just put some glue down inside there to, because that's not attached back to the back of the roof, but you can put some little glue down there. But you should be missing the windows on the corners. So then we can do some other embellishment, which we'll start on Tuesday. And we'll also get the, let's just do it real quick. Let's finish it. Let's get the chimney done, and then we are in good shape to start embellishing. So it's going to go skinny wide, skinny. Now, Joy's posting a link to my Facebook group. We keep it private just so we don't get people coming in and trying to advertise and stuff. But Facebook group called Paper Doodles. My website is lauradenisondesigns.com. I keep thinking I'm going to get my blog really rolling again, and then I don't. I have one pattern from way back. It's one of my really early patterns, faux paper bag, that I actually had dimensions in both US and also in metric, because I thought, oh, I'm going to be, I have so many people who are, Canadian or European or Aussie and, use metric, and yeah. I did that on one pattern, and I went, yeah, nope, you guys are going to have to convert, because I'm not sitting here figuring this out for every dimension. It was funny. And again, I'm just lining the fold of my construction strip up with the edge of the chipboard so that then I can butt the edges up and attach them together. And to those of you who are new, I do have all of my past, it's like 2 terabytes now worth of videos. Other than, these are outside of my YouTube videos. These are my live streamed classes from when we used to do it on Ustream over the last 10 years that are available for free viewing on under the archives tab on my website. So if you need something to be watching over the course of the next several weeks, you can find tons to watch on my website as well as here on my YouTube. Alrighty. Now I'm not going to attach this on there yet. I'm just going to put it to where you guys can see. So it's a rectangular shape and it is going to attach here on the side like so. But I want to put all the Goo-Gah on it before we attach it. So, but that's where it is going to go. So that's what the house is going to look like. So you can see how it's definitely not as deep because this is going to, as I said, so if this were my my box or base, this is going to be at the backdrop, and there will be more of a walkway and a stream running along the front because, as I said, this one's going to be a little bit more of a masculine style of fairy house. So, and we'll be ready to then start embellishing our chipboard on Tuesday when we come back. So, unless I get a wild hair and decide to keep working on it this weekend, but I have other things I need to be working on over the weekend. So, but my tentative plan is to do Tuesdays and Thursdays in what is my afternoons at 3:30. Today was kind of an anomaly doing it later, unless people like this time. With everybody home, you know, people might be enjoying. I can do one during the day and one at night if people like that sort of thing. So, but we'll figure that all out. And anyway, so yeah, we'll be back on Tuesday. Let me switch cameras. I need to hit buttons because my left hand didn't work. There we go. All right. Yeah, I was trying to hit buttons with my left hand. Let me tip that out of the way. Yeah, see, it's dark outside. So anyway, so we'll be back then on Tuesday at 3:30 Pacific time. So, which is like 3.5 hours earlier than when we started here tonight. I just had something that I had to do this afternoon, but it gives us a chance to all get together, chat, take a break from life right now. So, but I do got to go feed the fam. So I thank you all so much for joining me here in my studio. I know it's been awesome for me to help kind of let go of some of the stress and such. For those of you that asked, my mom is doing great. It was really hard the other day to not be able to like hug her or anything, but just wave to her from the doorway. But I at least got to see her, and I know she's doing
awesome, and they're taking incredibly good care of her there. For those who don't, she's in assisted living, and so there she's kind of in total lockdown. So, but she's doing great. She's got her books, and if she's got a book and a TV, she's fine. So hopefully all of you are staying safe, staying home, and being positive. It's kind of my new words to live by. So stay safe, stay home, stay positive. We'll get through all of this, and it may be different on the other side, but we will get through it, and it's through groups like this that's going to help us keep our mental health going. So again, I appreciate everybody joining me here today, and we will see you on Tuesday. So peace out. Love you bunches. Bye for now.